Hey, how's it going, fellas? Welcome back to the show. I'm Sean David. Let's talk some old school basketball. In today's episode, I want to talk about Michael Jordan and Bill Laimbeer and why MJ hates Bill Laimbeer. At the end of the video, I also want to give my personal opinion, but at first I want to hit you with some facts. But before we start with this video, I want to give a quick shout out to my Patreons. Thanks a lot, you guys, for supporting the show. It's really appreciated. And I would say let's dig right into today's episode.
I make no apologies for my game throughout my career. The only respect and admiration I need is of the 12 teammates on our ball club. And as long as they're all for me and I'm all for them and I have their respect, that's all that matters. And whatever the general public thinks about my style of play, I really could care less.
But it's not a takedown play.
You can get real, you can hurt your back on a play.
Absolutely.
He'll try to hurt you. Right. And, he was one of them guys, you shoot a jumper, you try to slide his foot underneath your ankle so you twist your ankle. And
you don't let a player get an easy layup, but you don't have a flagrant foul where the individual might be injured for the rest of their lives.
Did you ever have problems with Laimbeer?
Oh, yeah.
Here's a fight right there. Laimbeer and Jordan. Yes, indeed. There are punches thrown. Oakley was coming to the defense of Michael Jordan.
If they happen to get in the way, well, that's not my fault. That's their fault. Stay out of our way. We're coming through trying to win the game. And in professional athletics, that's the difference between being good and being a champion.
As you can see, Bill Laimbeer is not the most loved player in NBA history, but I want to take you back right to the beginning and see where it all started. It is the year 1981 and Bill Laimbeer gets traded to the Detroit Pistons from the Cleveland Cavaliers after having two very unspectacular first NBA seasons. The Pistons at that time were a team that liked to run the floor, score as many points as possible, and hopefully win a few basketball games. But the new head coach, Chuck Daly, had a different vision in mind. In the mid-1980s, the Pistons roster was filled with hard-nosed, intense characters that totally changed the style of the team. Goodbye run-and-gun basketball, hello bad boys. From now on, the first rule was no easy layups. Everybody that penetrated into the paint had to pay. The second rule was you always have to back up your teammate when they're in a fight. If your teammate is in a fight, you have to be there right away. And the bad boys really lived that philosophy. And Bill Laimbeer was perfect for that. His entire strategy was getting into the head of his opponents with many, many dirty fouls, a lot of them away from the eye of the ref. This of course resulted in Bill having a lot of fights and making him very unpopular with the opposing team and fans. But the Bad Boys now were very successful and Bill's style was crucial to the team. The Bad Boys were just about to beat the Celtics and to take over in the East. Then this Michael Jordan fella came along and embodied everything that Bill Laimbeer hated. Jordan was so popular, graceful, and simply art. So naturally, Bill Laimbeer wanted to make sure that their newly acclaimed throne in the East would not be taken away right away. And then in 1988, the Bulls and Pistons would meet in the playoffs. Jordan was known to be able to outscore almost every team, and the Pistons, and especially Bill Laimbeer, wanted to make sure that this does not happen. Only 1 year prior, Michael Jordan scored 61 points on the Detroit Bad Boy Pistons in a 125-120 overtime victory, which angered Chuck Daly so much that he told his team that this could never ever happen again, no matter the cost. So let's have a look how Bill Laimbeer interpreted Chuck Daly's words.
Post over Mahorn. Missed badly. Rebound, Jordan. Oh, he just does so many things.
Well, he's around, and you have to be in position to get plays like that. I mean,
Field, it's 13-8 Detroit. Threw it away, and out of there is Jordan. He's got Paxson and Davis with him. He doesn't need him. 23-17.
well, just watch this play and the great ability of Michael Jordan. Tell me if you think this is a foul, folks. I think there's a little contact there. Let's watch it from a different angle. No foul being called in this play. Michael turns around. He can't believe it. There goes the tongue flying, and there goes the man himself flying. Laimbeer has no chance. Look at boom, body, arm. no foul.
You've been around this league long enough to know the rule, no fracture, no foul.
Then he hasn't been able to curl off that post.
Laimbeer losing it. They are just not with it yet.
Who's your favorite guy to mess with?
I don't think, they're always the best player. You always want to, find a way to stop the best player. And like when we were playing against Jordan, every time Jordan came in the lane, 3 people went over there and knocked him on his ass. Because he had, the best player, you have to make them either afraid or they want to pass the ball to somebody else who's not as good or not going to make the shot. So if you try to make them do something they don't normally do, whatever the cost.
The ball across, then got it back and slammed it in, and underneath it looked like a four. Oh, Laimbeer just shoved Horace Grant.
5 to go opening quarter.
Here's a fight right there. Laimbeer and Jordan. Yes, indeed. There were punches thrown. Oakley was coming to the defense of Michael Jordan that time. This all happened down right around the foul line area. Laimbeer and Jordan definitely landed some shots here.
Thomas goes baseline short with a shot. Pippen had a chance to cut the lead down to 11, which is as few as it's been since the first quarter.
Threw up an unmakeable shot. Cartwright went to the hoop. A hard piston foul, and Jim Clark's going to call it flagrant.
Well, Detroit will calm you down. They'll work their plays. Steele, he kept it in bounds. Here it is again. Oh, yes! This is one for the book, QB. He's done a lot of great shots, but I've never seen this before from him.
You see, it was an excellent save. Now, when he gets it back, you'll see him elevate, do a 360, and just toss it.
The Pistons kicked the Bulls out of the playoffs 3 times in a row. Jordan was always trying to fight back, hitting some insane plays. But Laimbeer was always getting under Jordan's skin. And it was not only Laimbeer's cheap shots and insane fouls. The other problem was Laimbeer was good, and he would let you know about it.
We go right back to AD, inside on Pippen. Double pump fake, shot falling down, rebound, Oakley, stolen by Laimbeer. Back up, no, tap up, yes! 88, 84. Pure muscle and determination. Play, Dumars stays in, gets it wide of the lane off the screen, deep in the corner to Laimbeer though. He sends it, he scores it! Bill Laimbeer with 19 points. Doug Collins is already down by the Piston bench, congratulating the coaches and players. The Pistons inbound it. Time runs out. They win it.
Here with Quinn Buckner. Bill Laimbeer strongly criticized Michael Jordan, as we just mentioned a moment ago, in explaining why the Pistons walked off the court in last year's playoff before the game ended.
Who is he? I mean, all he does is play basketball. In the world, he's this big. I mean, he may be up there because he has publicists and media and pumping him up. But as a individual, down-to-earth, heart person, he has. I mean, who is he? Who cares about him?
Well, okay, what would some other guy who's not sitting on the couch with me tonight say to Laimbeer that you don't say to Ron Howard?
I mean, you don't want me to say those words.
Oh, okay, maybe not. Maybe not.
But it's in the form of that you didn't appreciate what he just did and meet him outside or do this or do that.
Yeah. So he's a tough, hard player that you actually you get angry at sometimes.
Everybody does. I mean, it's a common thing. If you had 273 professional athletes here, professional basketball player, and you say who's the dirtiest player in the NBA. So to see him coming at me with full steam ahead, I mean, it's only to knock me over, knock me off balance.
Now, as promised, I also want to give my personal opinion at the end of the video. Since I'm a huge Michael Jordan fan, I love Bill Laimbeer, and I can tell you why. If it wasn't for Bill Laimbeer and the Bad Boy Pistons, Michael Jordan still would be the GOAT, but I think it really helped Michael to grow as a player, and it makes his story even more spectacular. The Bad Boy Pistons were a team that didn't take any prisoners, and I loved players that were really competitive and would do whatever it takes to win basketball games. So I think it was great to have the Bad Boys back in the days, and it was even greater having Michael Jordan beating them. So that's my opinion. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I guess I'll see you next time. Peace, I'm out.